something I noticed is that the Japanese kids all love to hug and hold hands. When I showed up to the school and saw all the kids were acting like this, I was like, what happened? Like, why did it stop when they got to adulthood? But bring back hugging in Japan. Bring back hugging in Japan. 2021, bring back hugging in Japan. Campaign, I'm starting. Hello everyone. Today it's Saturday and I am resting because I have been really overwhelmed by my new job in a good way. By the way, this is all just an adjustment. Now I have to get up at 6 a.m. every day and I have such a normal routine. I have to make my meals and like just keep with a new schedule. And in addition to that, I have to kind of readjust my mind to operating in a Japanese work environment because everyone speaks Japanese and my brain has to work really hard throughout the day to keep up with what's going on because I am still learning. During my free time at work, I was brainstorming some video ideas and I thought about like what might be interesting, and I thought this might be interesting, and if you clicked on this video you also thought it might be interesting. So I took some notes in this notebook. By the way, this is from my friend Kristen, who I miss very much, so I love you, Kristen. Thank you. Things that are different about Japanese schools compared to American schools or Western schools. I grew up in America, so that's kind of what I'm comparing my experience to. So yeah, today we are talking about 7 things you may not know about Japanese schools. Just to be clear, I work in a public junior high school, so this isn't going to be the case for like every school. Maybe private schools and international schools are different, but from what I understand, the things that I wrote down and the things that I will share with you are pretty common in schools in Japan. So most Japanese kids will have these experiences. Let's get started. You probably know that in Japan, people take off their shoes before entering the household. You cannot wear your shoes, your dirty outside shoes in the house. This is the same rule for schools. So I didn't know this until I went to my schools. They brought me to the schools before I started work to introduce me to the vice principal. And when I arrived, there were all of these wooden boxes with shoes, and there were slippers that they gave to me to wear. I brought my own slippers on the first day of school, and I wear those in the classroom and in the teacher's room. I cannot wear my shoes. If I want to wear heels or work shoes, I can't wear those. They get left in the box when I enter the school. Some teachers wear different types of shoes. As I said, I wear slippers, which are nice and comfortable for me. I feel like it's pajama day, like every day. Anyway, I don't know why I just said that. A lot of the other teachers wear sneakers. That's really common for them to wear sneakers as their indoor shoes. So they have a pair of sneakers they leave at school, or a pair of slippers, and they change into those at the school. And all of the kids change their shoes and wear matching slippers. Like they all have their matching indoor shoes. They're not exactly slippers. They're kind of like Toms. That's how I would describe them, kind of like Toms. The kids also change their shoes to go to PE class, and for PE class there is a completely different shoe room. So there's the shoe room that we use when we enter the school and we put on our outside shoes, and then there's a shoe room where they keep their sneakers and they change from their slippers to the sneakers to do PE class and vice versa. Very different from an American school. We don't take off our shoes. And I feel like if we did take off our shoes in American school, like someone would steal your shoes, mess with your shoes. I don't know. The kids all have matching uniforms. In America, from my experience, in public schools, there were not uniforms, but in private schools, there were uniforms. In Japan, all of the schools have uniforms. That's a pretty grand statement, but like, I'm pretty sure it's true. If you come to Japan and you see students like on the street, you'll know they're students because they are wearing uniforms. And the uniforms really do look like the ones in anime, like they kind of look like sailor costumes sometimes, or Harry Potter. I always kind of wished I had a uniform. There's no pressure to dress a certain way or no bullying based off of what you're wearing. So that's good. I noticed in my school that they aren't enforcing any rules based on gender anymore. Usually girls have skirts and boys have pants, but in my school, some of the girls have chosen to wear the pants. So I think that's great because Japan's pretty old-fashioned and I didn't expect that, but no, they're really supportive of the kids making that choice. So yeah, some of the girls, I noticed some of the taller girls wear pants instead of skirts. Oh, and one more thing I will mention is though they have matching indoor shoes, they do not have matching sneakers for gym class, at my school at least, and they don't have matching masks right now. All the kids wear different masks. So yeah, I think that would be really cute. Like if they had a school mask with the logo on it, that would be so cute. But no, everyone has their own masks right now. During lunchtime, the kids all help serve lunch to each other and they all wear these matching, like kind of like cafeteria lady outfits. They have these hats they wear and smocks and they walk around. They all serve the lunch and do their part to help each other. So they don't have like the lunch lady, there's no lunch lady like serving them lunch and then they go sit down and eat in the cafeteria. They eat in their classroom with their homeroom teacher and they set up the room, like they set up the room differently to eat and serve the lunch near the room. And then they clean up everything afterward themselves. I am a pescatarian, so I don't eat meat. And when I came to the school, they were really confused about why I wasn't like eating the school lunch because most of the teachers eat the school lunch. Like, it's kind of rare to bring your own lunch. And I was worried that I was being rude, but I explained that I don't eat meat. So on days that there's meat, which is most days, I can't eat that and it's just hard to plan. On that first day of work, and I had brought my own lunch, the one lady in the office, and by the way, just to be clear, I'm going to speak English, but they all speak Japanese to me, so like on top of everything, I'm trying to understand what they're saying. So one office lady came over to me with like a plate of lunch asking if I was eating, and I said no, I brought my own, and she was like asking why, and I said I eat meat. Sorry, I don't eat meat, so I have to bring my own lunch every day. And then she was asking what I made, and I like showed her the lunch, blah blah blah. And then I kept asking, is it okay for me to eat here in the teacher's room? Like, is it okay for me to be eating in here? And yeah, you can eat in here. But I noticed during lunchtime, most of the teachers were gone. And on that first day, like, I didn't know where they went. Now I know where they went. Most of the teachers eat with the students and they eat the same lunch. All the teachers, the principal, the students eat the same lunch, which always has rice, has a soup, and some type of protein dish. It looks really good, honestly. I kind of wish I could just eat it, but a lot of the days it's meat, so I can't. It would be easier for me to eat it too, and quite honestly, it would be cheaper. So yeah, it's a little annoying for me to be pescatarian in this situation, but that's just my diet. So I gotta stick with that. There's a real sense of community in the school surrounding lunchtime. And I know in the teacher's room, they set up the lunch to serve as well in the teacher's room, and the teachers that stay behind and don't have the homeroom will eat there, also the principal. That was very interesting for me. It's still interesting for me, and next month I'm going to a different school, so I'm going to have to explain all over again why I'm eating in the teacher's room and why I'm bringing my own lunch. I would love to eat with the kids, but I think it's kind of, I don't know, rude or uncomfortable for me to bring my outside lunch in there when everyone's eating the same lunch. Like, I don't want them to think I don't like it. I just don't eat meat. In American schools, I always remember going to my teacher's classroom in middle school or high school if I needed to talk to them, or the students, us. Once we got to middle school, we were moving from classroom to classroom. Like, science was over here, English was over there. That is not the case in the Japanese junior high school, in the Japanese public school. The teachers are the ones who move around. As I mentioned in the last section, we have a teacher's room. So I have a desk in there, all the teachers have a desk in there. We all share that room together with the principal and vice principal. The principal has his own room attached to it. But yeah, we all share a teacher's room. And when it's time for class, the teachers will bring a basket, kind of like you see at the supermarket, with all their books and papers, and go to the students' room. The students are all assigned their own classroom. So that's their homeroom. And as I mentioned before, they have a homeroom teacher who eats lunch with them and is with them at the beginning of the day, at the end of the day. Another thing about this teacher's room, it gets pretty chaotic in there in the beginning and end of the day when all the teachers have to go somewhere. But it gets even more chaotic when students come to find a teacher. When students are looking for a teacher, or need to get something from a teacher, or need to hand something into a teacher, or they lost some item, like, they come to the teacher's room and they have to formally announce themselves at the door. So they can't enter the room and be like, oh, excuse me, like, Sensei, can we talk? No. They have to go to the door, announce themselves. So they go to the door, they announce their year, they announce their name, and they announce who they are looking for or what they need. And then they say, onegaishimasu, just like please, formal please. Upon hearing that request, the teachers in the room will just kind of stare at them while they make that request, wait for them to finish the request, and then give their response, like, oh, that teacher's not here, or oh, you may enter. That was kind of interesting for me at first. I didn't know why all these students were coming to the door and formally introducing themselves. Yeah, I quickly caught on to the situation and knew that was just custom. But of course, in Japan, students have to be really respectful of their teachers and elders. So that is why they do it like that. So As I mentioned in the last section, there is a lot of respect for your teachers and elders in Japan. And one way that this is expressed in the Japanese school is that in the beginning of class, the students will all stand up and face the teacher, bow, and say onegai shimasu. And then at the end of class, they say arigatou gozaimashita, which is a formal thank you. So they do that, have their introduction and closure to the class, which is really nice. And of course they bow, and me and the sensei also bow to them. There's usually one student who's in charge of organizing this. So I think it's some kind of class monitor, but the kid will say "Kuritsu," and everyone will stand up. They will be in charge of getting everyone to stand up together, to bow together, and then the teacher will usually seat them. Students are not as proper and polite and rule following as you may imagine. Yes, they have all these routines and rules that they follow and traditions that they follow, but they are still kids. Kids are the same everywhere. That's what I'm gonna say. Kids are the same everywhere. They're crazy. Oh, also, I don't even think this is related, but something I noticed is that the Japanese kids all love to hug and hold hands, or they're so affectionate with each other in the school. Even boys and boys do that. They sit on each other or hug or hold hands, walk around holding hands. They're really affectionate. And this was shocking for me because most Japanese adults I know are not like this at all. So when I showed up to the school and saw all the kids were acting like this, I was like, what happened? What happened in the years from junior high school to adulthood? When they were in middle school, did they do this? It's still so shocking for me. The kids are so affectionate with each other. I'm so sad. Why did it stop when they got to adulthood? Bring back hugging in Japan. Bring back hugging in Japan. 2021, bring back hugging in Japan. Campaign, I'm starting. This is my experience working in public school in Kyoto. So I understand that maybe not all schools are like this, especially not a private school or an international school. Everyone thinks Japan is so technologically advanced, and there is some really good technology, very advanced in many ways with technology, but it doesn't carry over into all aspects of life. In the school, there are still chalkboards. There are no screens. There is only a CD player if we want to listen to something. Printouts, tons of paper printouts. And yeah, anything else? Also I've never seen a student with a phone. I've never seen a student with a phone. If they have a phone, it probably just stays in their bag all day, but no student has a phone on them. When I'm in the school, I feel like I could be in another era completely. And something I had to get used to is writing on a chalkboard, because at my old job I used a whiteboard and then I worked online. So using a chalkboard, I get chalk all over my clothes every day. Oh, I wasn't gonna mention this, but I'm gonna mention this with I think it fits into this category. The toilets, there is not a toilet that you can sit on. In Japan, there are two types of toilets. In Japan, there are the really advanced toilets with all the technology and buttons that you can choose. So there's that type of toilet, which is very common and most public spaces have it. But then there's the good old squatting toilet. So of course the school has the squatting toilets. Like that is the only option at the school is the squatting toilet. It's fine, I'm used to it, we're good. Kids clean the school. At the end of the day, there are about 15 minutes in the schedule allotted to cleaning the school. So that bell rings and all the kids have a task and they'll go do it. Mopping together, washing the windows together, sweeping together, just like doing what they need to do to take care of the school. There are also many teachers that participate as well, and many teachers that participate in keeping the school clean throughout the day. I've even seen the vice principal of my school sweeping during the day outside, and I think it's great because there's really the sense of community, as I mentioned, with the food, like eating lunch together. There's also this sense of community while cleaning and taking care of the space together that I think is wonderful, and I wish that we could adopt in Western schools. I don't know, I just kind of reflect on my experience growing up in America, and the bell rings and I just leave the school and then the janitors clean. It just doesn't like sit so well with me anymore. At the Japanese schools, there's no janitor, like it's the teacher and student's job to clean. I think in American schools, like we took so much for granted and we just expected adults to take care of us. But like in the Japanese schools, there are things that the kids know they need to do too and play a part in. I think it's good like character building. Yeah, it's cultural. I know that they're different with different cultures, but yeah, I really like that. I really like that about Japanese schools. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I hope you learned something from this, something interesting. Wait, something I wanted to mention. Please subscribe to my channel. It has come to my attention via my statistics on YouTube that the majority of people watching my videos are not subscribed to my channel. So please subscribe, because if you're watching anyway, it does not hurt to subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. Just click the button and you'll get notified on YouTube or recommended on YouTube when I make a new video, and it really helps my channel grow and helps me get more views. So please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful week and I'll see you next time. Arigatou gozaimashita. Mata ne.